Okay, I have a quick question for you, Greg, and I got this on Facebook from somebody. If you had a chance, if they came to you and they said, hey, we want to do gargoyles again.
There's nothing in my career I would rather do than more gargoyles. I mean, and I'm doing Star Wars Rebels, and I'm having a good time, and I love it. But, and there's not a lot I would leave it for, but for gargoyles, I would. That's it for me. I mean, that's my thing.
Would you pick up where you left off, or would you kind of repackage it for like new audiences?
I get asked that sometimes, and it's such a vague hypothetical. It's so hard to say. I mean, you know, if they totally, you know, left it up to me, which they never ever will. I would, you know, probably make them rerun the original episodes, which I watched recently because they released the DVD, and I hadn't seen it in 8 or 9 years, and it still holds up. I mean, the only thing that's sort of weird is no one has a cell phone. But otherwise, it holds up pretty damn well, and I would make them re-air those, and then we'd pick up right where we left off. But that's not what would ever happen. So it would depend on so many different factors, and they would sort of tell me. And you know, again, the odds are if they brought it back, they'd be like going, "Oh yeah, we could probably find someone younger and better looking to produce this show than Greg Weisman."
I'm a voice actor, my friend.
Yeah. Which I started doing, by the way.
Yay!
And by the way, and the reason is, first off, only on shows that I produce, so that the voice director has no choice but to use me. But honestly, the reason I do it is that, you know, I did all those gargoyles. I don't ever see a dime from it, ever. So, like when I did Spectacular Spider-Man, I just played this little character, Donald Menken, and so I get a check about once every 6 months for about $6.12 or something like that. But it matters, damn it. That $6.12 matters, because it's SAG. I'm a member of SAG. I don't think that the royalties that I get for Spectacular Spider-Man cover my SAG dues. But it's the damn principle of the thing.
Can I just say, so you're doing Star Wars Rebels, you have Vanessa Marshall in this show, right? She is?
No comment.
No comment.
We can't talk about Rebels.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. Forgive me, like I said, they don't have anybody on that show. But if they would, maybe Vanessa Marshall. But I don't know. So forgive me, I just opened my mouth to change feet. I didn't know that.
Does that validate your question?
Yeah. Well, no, I just
No, that's a good butter.
I did play a stormtrooper.
Okay, good. There you go. We're talking about Disney, happiest place in the galaxy. Oh,
else do we got?
Hunter Thompson.
Hunter S. Thompson, ladies and gentlemen.
Fear and Loathing in Long Beach.
Question for Chippendale Rescue Rangers are they based off of Indiana Jones and Magnum P.I.? They look exactly.
When they were designed, they obviously gave them this. You know, they gave them the leather jacket and the Hawaiian shirt. So, duh. You know. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have to poll the audience because this is my favorite trivia question, and most people don't get it. Monterey Jack is a mouse. He has a pet fly that sits on his arm. Zipper. Does anyone get that? One person.
Yeah, it's a fly. Yeah, fly.
Zipper fly. Yeah. Most people look at me and go,
ah. It's because he zips around and he does the... Yeah. It's that's how you know you have multi-layered hair when people project you. Did you have a question, sir?
Yes.
All right.
First off, Rob, welcome you to man.
Oh, thank you, my friend. That's very kind.
Bring your body. So
Yeah, I see you've got a turtle shirt with mustaches on.
November turtles. You know,
That's very cool. Thank you, by the way, and thank your parents for buying those action figures when you were a kid, because my kid's teeth are straight as a result of your generosity. Thank you.
And for Jim, I have a question for you. I know that there was a DuckTales movie that got released, an animated DuckTales movie. Were there ever any talks about an animated Rescue Rangers movie?
no, I don't, not gonna recall. And that's the long answer.
Yeah, if I recall, I remember that the DuckTales movie, for whatever reason, didn't do as well in theaters as they had hoped, and that kind of, then they kind of like went,
That's what I think. I didn't know there was plans for it then.
But the Goofy movie did.
tell you that Goofy movie did really well. The first one, and then the second was called an extremely Goofy movie.
I just watched that last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
My one contribution to the Goofy movie was, it was called The Goofy Movie, and I suggested that they change it to A Goofy Movie.
That was
That's why he can't talk about what he's doing now. He's just that good. Can I just say that I thought that movie rocked?
I just, real quickly, I want to say that Disney extremely didn't call me for the sequel to the movie. Yes. Here.
Hi, Karina. Hi, honey. It's okay.
Speak.
You're Batgirl. Actually, Marlo Thomas was in that show.
And you know the voice of Batgirl, which is very cool too. So.
I do. I probably do. But thank you. Tara, I know Tara very well.
First of all, I just want to say, unfortunately, I didn't get to watch a lot of these shows because I wasn't born until '98.
Yeah. Sit down and shut up. Do you have any idea what our collective age is old enough to get back to the Pleistocene? Throw that at us. Thank you.
So I don't really have a question considering the shows, but I just want to say that, like, I know that you guys, each individual show that you guys have created, like Gargoyles and DuckTales, like my English teacher was just talking about DuckTales. And he said you should watch it for the whole second semester. So you guys, how do you guys feel that you guys are like individuals, just like all of us are, that you've made such an impact? Like Rob, oh my gosh, like you literally changed my life. Like I just felt really crappy at one point, and then like you sent me a direct message on Twitter.
Here, I'll take care of you right now. If you bring 100, Greg, I could give her 20. That's really sweet of you, honey, really.
No, it's you, not me. So,
What now?
it's you.
It's
I'm not the sweet one.
Say why.
Say why?
I just want to know, how does it feel for you guys to like have such an impact on so many people?
Well, you want to yeah, Mr. Schooley can start. Thank you,
I
Schooley.
think when you're making these shows, sometimes you do forget that because you kind of have to forget that it's going out there to so many millions of people. So it is always great when you actually get that feedback. Whenever somebody on Twitter or something says, you know, some compliment about something I've worked on, it really does mean a lot. Because you don't really hear it that often, unless you're Rob. That's stopping by his house. But no, it definitely is what makes this worthwhile.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very special feeling.
You sell on eBay for $5.
Yeah, I didn't sign it, so it's still worth something.
Sometimes it's the unexpected ones, though. You know, like if you're traveling, and,
Yes.
you know, or like when we go overseas to visit animation studios. You know, if you're in India and somebody comes up to you and says, "Kim Possible's great," kind of spooks you a little bit. You're like, "Oh my gosh, people all over the world are watching this stuff." So yeah, it's a great feeling. Right?
I've got more prints to hand out if anybody else wants to ask a question. All right.
Well, I do want to say that this is, we get no applause for what we do. But when you're on stage, you get to hear the audience reaction right away. So this is very satisfying. Thank you.
All right.
Go ahead.
We're gonna go lightning round. We have
Okay.
like 3 minutes.
Yes and no question.
Okay.
No.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering, how come you guys didn't come back for the movie, Ninja Turtles, in 1990?
Well, the question was, why didn't we come back? But as you might step back just a little bit so the folks can see. Thank you for your question, name, sir? Adam. Adam, thank you for your question, Adam. The truth is, kind of like Greg has been alluding to, we have, as actors or producers often, we don't own the show. So anytime that a property as perennially successful as Ninja Turtles changes hands, the producers or whomever owns the property has a complete right to cast it and do whatever they want with it. And so we being the voice cast, were never involved in any of the permutations that happened after the first one. that's why it was so incredibly gratifying to get a shot at it again. And the first question I asked when my agent called me to read for the new Ninja Turtles was, do they know who I am? Not out of arrogance, but because I was on the original show, and I had had nothing to do with anything in the middle, so I didn't want to waste their time and go in there and say, oh shit, that's right, he was Raphael, let's throw the old guy a bone. So unfortunately it worked out, but you know, the reason is because, very simply, we have no control over that kind of stuff. That is up to each individual producer who gets a hold of the property.
Okay, you sir?
Hi, Glenn Grenade from Long Beach. Just want to say thank you all for coming out. It's
Thank
wonderful
you.
for sharing. I'm always a fan of the Dylan Thanatos. I love him. I love the way you look at Jonathan Frakes even. He reminded me of evil Tony Stark, but what was his influence for his character? What influenced you to create that character? I love that character. Underrated villain.
Thanks. I think Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark were definitely inspirations for Xanatos. There was a character I'd written in a comic book called Captain Atom. The character's name was General Ealing. And General Ealing was sort of a step towards Xanatos. And actually Captain Kirk was sort of...
That's your Amway distributor called your LOC.
Captain Kirk was a big influence on Xanatos. The idea of someone who never admitted defeat and who always had a contingency plan, and so it was that kind of, we just sort of said, well, what if that kind of personality, a guy like Tony Stark, a guy like Captain Kirk, a guy like Bruce Wayne, what if he were the bad guy? And so that was sort of where he came out from. And the fact that he looked a little like Frakes is true, but it's kind of a happy accident because we designed the character long before we cast Jonathan. And then later, when Jonathan was sort of on Star Trek The Next Generation playing Will Riker's evil clone, he grew that beard and goatee. It was like, and I said to him, because we were still doing Gargoyles at the time, I saw the episode, I said, you were totally doing Xanatos as you played the evil clone. He's like, I was totally doing Xanatos. And even more so, we did one episode of Wings, of the sitcom Wings, where he was playing this incredibly rich guy dating Crystal Bernard or something like that. And he was like this evil industrialist, and he was like, yeah, I was totally doing Xanatos.
That's great. Yeah.
Guys, I wish we could go further, but we are out of time. We gotta give the next panel a chance. Thank you all for coming out.